Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. In this video, is tea safe for pregnant women and children? In this video, I'm going to go through the latest thinking on this subject so that you can make a more informed decision. This video is going to go under the tea and health playlist. If at any point in time you enjoy this video, then please give the video the thumbs up. The more thumbs in the air, the more tea videos are going to come your way. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, then go click that button. We are frequently asked in our shop in London and also online if drinking tea is safe for pregnant women and at what age you can start to safely introduce tea into your children's diet. Before I go any further, I want to make clear that this is a personal decision for you and your family. We all know that tea is ultra healthy for you. Hundreds, if not thousands of clinical studies have been done that shows that tea has anti-cancer properties, is good for your digestive system, good for your cardiovascular system, good for weight control, it's good for your cognitive abilities, as well as a whole host of other health benefits. So in terms of a habit, tea is one of the most healthy indulgences that you can incorporate into your lifestyle. But what about if you are pregnant? Well, if you're pregnant, then there are two factors to consider regarding tea. The first is caffeine intake. Caffeine intake has been shown that if you take a lot of caffeine in while you're pregnant, then it can have an effect on fetal development and also on length of pregnancy. So doctors like to set an upper limit. And currently the doctor recommendations for the safe daily upper limit is 200 milligrams. So 200 milligrams per day is your safe daily upper limit of caffeine. However, some clinical studies have shown that at slightly less than that, around 150 milligrams, there may also have some small effect on the length of pregnancy. And therefore, some people like to set a lower safe upper limit of around 100 to 150 milligrams of caffeine. How does that relate to tea? Well, around 5 grams of leaf contains, when extracted Western style, contains around about between 10 and 60 milligrams of caffeine. So if I took any tea, no matter even the most stimulating tea, and I brewed it for about 2 to 3 minutes, 5 grams of the leaf, it will produce a tea that contains between 10 and 60 milligrams of caffeine. So even if you're pregnant, you can still drink any tea as long as you don't drink more than about 2 cups of the tea. If you're brewing Gongfu style, then maybe you don't go over about 4 or 5 infusions. However, if you want to drink a little bit more tea than that, then you want to be trying to choose teas that are at the lower level, around 10 to 20 milligrams of caffeine per 5 grams of leaf. There are no hard and fast rules here. You can't say that all green tea has higher caffeine than black tea, etc. But what you can say is if you look at the anatomy of the plant, caffeine tends to be in higher concentrations in the buds and in the young leaves. And so if you're drinking tea that contains higher proportions of the 3rd and 4th leaves, then you are more likely to have a lower caffeine drink. Also, it has been shown that if you roast a tea, it reduces the caffeine content. And so everything points to oolong teas, especially roasted oolong teas, as having the lowest levels of caffeine compared to other teas. And this is certainly true from the tests that we've done. We've sent our tea off to labs for testing, for caffeine testing, and also all the literature that I've read. It certainly is true that the oolong teas, especially the roasted oolong teas, tend to sit at the bottom in terms of concentration of caffeine. One thing that you shouldn't be doing is drinking matcha. Because you're drinking the leaf, you're actually consuming the leaf, you're getting all of the caffeine from the leaf, and matcha is made from the very young green tea leaves, and so it has a higher level of caffeine. And so if a shot of matcha tends to have around about 80 to 100 milligrams of caffeine. So yeah, you might be able to have 1 shot a day, but we would advise not drinking any matcha if you're pregnant. The second thing to think about regarding tea in pregnancy is the heavy metal content. Now, I don't want to freak people out, but heavy metal exists in soil. And so any fruits and vegetables, your spinach, your broccoli, peaches, apples, may contain trace amounts of heavy metals, and tea is no different to that. Of course, if you are growing these fruits and vegetables in areas which are closer to industrialized areas, then the chances are that the heavy metal content may be slightly higher. When you are pregnant, doctors are very, very cautious about controlling any kind of heavy metal consumption, which is why you're often told not to eat sushi or not to eat seafood, because they tend to have much higher levels of heavy metals. If you are brewing tea, it's not a problem, because when you brew tea, the extraction method, the water extraction method, does not extracts minuscule percentage of the heavy metals. So we're talking extremely low levels. You do not have to worry. However, when we go back to matcha, because you are eating the leaf, you are consuming the leaf, you are therefore taking everything in, we would again advise regarding caffeine and also heavy metal content not to consume matcha when you're pregnant. This is because the levels that they set for heavy metal consumption is super low when you look at pregnant women. The California Prop 65, which is one of the most stringent dietary guidelines, says that you shouldn't have more than 0.5 micrograms of lead in your diet per day. Now, that's almost impossible to achieve, even if you eat a healthy diet with salads and vegetables. So the levels are extremely low, and this is 1,000th of the levels of lead that has been shown not to have an effect on fetal development. So it's 1,000 times safety, and so you really don't have to worry, but we would advise not to consume matcha, mostly for the caffeine content. So, as a summary, if you're pregnant, you can drink tea. You can drink a couple of cups of any tea you would like. If you would like to drink a bit more than that, then stick to your roasted oolongs. Of course, if you don't want to drink tea at all, then move to herbals. Rooibos is a perfect example of a herbal tea that has no caffeine and is also a very delicious drink. So we've talked about pregnancy and tea, but what about children and tea? Whenever I go to China, I always ask farmers, do you serve tea to your children? And they tend to say to me that they do once the child reaches the age of about 4 years old and in small quantities. But this seems quite alien to the Western point of view. So I've done a lot of reading on this, and from what I've read, there are 2 factors to consider regarding tea and children. The first is iron absorption. If you drink tea with food, it can have an effect on the amount of iron that you absorb. And this is, of course, fundamentally important for the growth and development of your child. So if you're planning to serve tea to your children, I would advise not serving with mealtimes and making it a separate event. The second factor to consider is, again, caffeine content. Now, caffeine is a stimulant, and in excessive amounts, it can have an effect on the child's sleep patterns or their mood. But what is an excessive amount? So I've read a lot about this, and the consensus seems to be that you do not give any caffeine to a child under the age of 4 years old. But once a child reaches the age of 4 years old, then you use a simple formula, which is about 2 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram of body weight. What does that mean? That means if your child weighs about 20 kilograms, then you can safely give them up to 40 milligrams of caffeine per day. Other research just sets a limit at 45 milligrams, but it's all about the same figure. 40 to 45 milligrams is the safe limit, and obviously as the child grows older and becomes a teenager and to an adult, those limits start to rise. So again, if you look at tea, you're looking at about 1 cup of tea is between 10 to 50, 60 milligrams of caffeine. So you can have 1 cup of any tea, but really oolongs, roasted oolongs would be much safer. And also if you're brewing gongfu style, maybe 4 or 5 of these small cups of tea. Now remember that if you start to introduce tea to your child at a young age, they're starting to get all of those health benefits. Sugary juices, sugary soft drinks, sugary energy drinks are not the healthiest things, so supplementing with some of the good stuff is a great thing to do. But do kids actually like tea? Do they enjoy the taste of tea? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to come back in a second, and I'm going to introduce you to a couple of very special guests. I have a couple of very special guests that I'd like them to introduce themselves. So, what is your name?
Inez.
Say hello to YouTube, Inez.
Hello, YouTube.
What is your name?
Estella.
You can say hello to YouTube, Estella.
Hello, YouTube.
So these are my lovely nieces. They're visiting. We had a sleepover last night, didn't we?
Yeah?
And now Uncle Don is holding a chopstick microphone, isn't he?
Yes.
Is it a bit silly?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to drink some tea today. First of all, how old are you?
4.
And you?
5.
Okay. So, do you like tea?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you drunk tea before?
Yes.
What's your favorite tea?
Duck shit.
Duck shit. You like duck shit?
Yeah.
Do you like duck shit because it tastes nice or just because it's got a funny name?
Funny name.
Oh, okay. So we don't have any duck shit for you to try today, but today we've got another oolong tea, and this tea is called Royal Peach Orchid or Milanxiang Dansong. And the reason why I've picked Milanxiang Dansong is because it's larger leaves and it's roasted, so that means it's the least amount of caffeine for these young bodies. So, would you like to smell the Milanxiang Dansong?
Yes.
What do you think?
It smells like duck shit.
It smells like duck shit. What do you think it smells like?
Rosemary.
Rosemary. Interesting. Smell again.
It also smells like seaweed.
It also smells like...
Seaweed. Also, it smells like TV to me too.
You're not
It
putting your...
smells like seaweed.
Okay, so now we're going to taste it. We're going to taste it. So that means that you have to hold the chopstick microphone. Don't touch this part, okay?
Okay, because it's electric.
Yeah, so Uncle Don's going to put some of this Milanxiang Dansong in here. We're going to use about 5 grams. And we've got really hot water over here. Are you going to click into that microphone? Yeah. What do you think? What do you think of it?
It smells like tea.
It smells like tea. That's good. Okay. So now we're going to use really hot water. So be careful, girls. Move your hands out of the way. Okay, so we're going to give it a quick wash first. We're going to wash the tea. Do you know why we wash the tea?
Why?
Do you want to guess?
Because it might be dirty.
Because it might be a little bit dirty, but we also...
Because tea is from... it is actually... Usually, it is from the dirt. It's graced from the dirt.
It comes from the soil, yes. So it might be a little bit dirty. Okay, but now you can smell the lid. So just take the lid off and put it to your nose. Do you like the smell?
Yeah.
What does it smell like?
Miso.
Miso. Ah, interesting. Okay, you smell the lid.
Spinach.
Spinach. Spinach and miso. Can you smell anything else? Can you smell anything fruity?
It is.
Fruity?
It is like. Smells like apples.
Oh, apples. Maybe sit down a bit, otherwise you're going to be cut off from the camera. Okay.
It smells like peach.
Like peach. Wow. Well done. Little taster here. Here you can take a little look. I don't know if we can get a focus on that. Okay. So now we're going to taste this. Now, this is very special tea. Only adults really drink tea, isn't it? Do children drink tea?
Only China children.
Only China children. Why only China children?
Because China children drink tea.
Okay.
Because they drink tea a lot.
Do you like to drink tea with Uncle Don?
Yeah. Can't touch anything.
You can't touch anything. No. Okay. Sit back now. And now sit down.
Yeah,
Sit down. Otherwise, you're going to get cut off. You need to stay here. Otherwise, your head's going to get cut off, and you're going to be like
Chopped off head.
chopped off head. Exactly. Okay. So here's your cup.
There's everything that
And you need to move close to me as well. Come close. Come closer to me. Oops. Okay. Here we go. Now, girls, you're going to taste this tea. It's a very special tea. You can only have about 2 to 3 of these small cups. Do you know why?
Why?
Because if you have too much, then you have too much caffeine, and caffeine makes you too awake, and then you don't go to sleep, and then your mummy gets very angry with Uncle Don because you don't sleep. So you only get 2 cups, so enjoy them. I'm going to pour a little bit in here, just a little bit, so that it's very easy to cool down. And now I want you to really concentrate. Close your eyes, concentrate, taste the tea. Blow it if it's too hot.
It tastes like peaches.
Tastes like what?
Peaches.
Like peaches.
It tastes like honey.
Honey? Wow, you girls are amazing. It tastes like peaches and honey, but it tasted of spinach before,
Yes.
but now it's changed.
Yes.
Oh, what do you think?
It tastes like seaweed.
Seaweed
Yeah. And miso soup.
and miso soup and peaches and honey. Now finish your cup, and then we're going to smell the empty cup. Oh, okay. So inside one of these pitchers probably is about 20 milligrams of caffeine. So shared between the 3 of us, we're getting about 7 milligrams with one pitcher. So that's well within the 45 milligram limit for children this age. So we're perfectly safe to be drinking this tea. Okay, smell the empty cup. What does it smell like?
It smells like blueberries.
Like blueberries.
Like strawberry.
Like strawberries. So you're getting a lot of fruit. It's very fruity.
Yeah.
So do you like tea?
Yes.
How much tea do you think you can drink?
No. 5 cups of tea.
5 cups, 5 little cups like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's about right.
6 cups.
6 cups. Okay, do you think tea is just for adults, or do you think children can drink tea?
Children.
Okay.
Children can drink tea and adults.
Okay, but only a little bit for children, right?
Yeah, because everyone can drink tea.
Okay, so now we're going to say goodbye to YouTube. Look into the camera and say goodbye, YouTube.
Goodbye, YouTube.
That's it, tea heads. If you made it to the end of this video, then please give the video the thumbs up. Check out our YouTube playlist and let us know if there are any videos that you would like us to make. If you're ever in London, then come visit us in Camden to say hi and taste our wares. If you have any questions or comments, then please fire them over. Other than that, I'm Don May from Mayleaf. Thank you for being part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from the tea bags, keep drinking the good stuff, and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Come on, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.